Wow, look at that house, guys. Wonder how much money that guy makes. Do you think he makes six figures? I mean, look at that. It's a big house, all these houses. I bet all of these people make six figures, or maybe even seven figures. What do you think? 6 or 7 figures? Rich people. How many figures do you make? Do you know what that means? Figures? Guys, there's some people coming up over there. Better go this way. Figures, the word figure it's another way to say number. Okay? A figure is a number. So if someone makes 6 figures, we're talking about their income level. Okay, if they make 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, that's a lot of money. Okay, look at this ice patch here. I gotta cross this. Gotta cross an ice field. Get over there to the path. So, how many figures do you make, guys? So, what does this mean? Okay. A salary, a person's salary is a certain amount, has a certain amount of numbers, right? If you make like let's say $40,000 a year, then that's 5 figures, right? That's 5 numbers. 4 0 0 0 0. Okay, if you make $10,500 per year, that's 5 figures. So anything, any salary between 10,000 and 10,000 and 99,999 and 99 cents is why are all these people following me today, guys? It's not because I'm good looking, is it? They just love to follow. People just love following me. Better hide down here by the canal, guys. Okay, so anything between 10,000 and 99,999 and 99 cents is 5 figures. Okay, the cents do not count as part of the figures. Okay, so if you make, you know, let's say your salary is 45,000 and 1 cent. Okay, let's say that's your salary, $45,000 and 1 cent. That's not 7 figures, even though there are 7 numbers, right? 4 5 0 0 0 decimal, like 0.01. That'd be 7 numbers, right? But it's not, we don't call that 7 figures. That's still 5 figures, because the numbers on the other side of the decimal point don't count. Okay, they don't count toward this term, figures. 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures. Okay, so if you make $45,000 and 1 cent, you still only make 5 figures. That's your salary, 5 figures, right? So anything between 10,000, if it's below 10,000, that's 4 figures, right? Let's say you make $9,999.99. That's still only 4 figures, because the 99 cents doesn't count, right? Okay, so what if you make 6 figures? What does that mean? What does that number mean? That means $100,000 or more. Okay, so if you make 6 figures, it's just people everywhere and their dogs. Just gonna hang out here for a few more minutes, guys, and then we'll keep going on our walk. Wait for all the people to disappear. So if you make $100,000 to, let's say, 900,099, no, how do I say this? 999,099 cents? Guys, big numbers are confusing, right? Big numbers are hard to say. Years ago, I made a video on how to say big numbers. If I find it, I'll post it up here somewhere. Okay, so big numbers, like when you get up close to $1 million, right? So what's 1 cent less than $1 million? That would be 6 figures, right? Because $1 million is 7 figures, right? 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 7. So only seven figures. Anything higher than 7 figures, who even makes 7 figures, guys? I mean, I don't know, like these people here in these houses, they are probably pretty rich. Like they would definitely be millionaires because the value of their house, I mean, it'd be, these houses would be over $1 million here. Like a house like that, a really nice, like big house that's probably got like 5 or 6 bedrooms, a big, you know, huge probably living room and whatever, it'd definitely be over $1 million. I don't know if it would be closer to 2 million. I don't know. It's by like a nice, it's got a beautiful view here, right? Nice canal. You got a pathway right outside your gate. You can just walk out their gate here, come to a really nice, like peaceful community. You know, you have to pay a premium to live in a place like this, right? If you pay a premium, that means you have to pay extra money. I mean, it's not like there's higher I was gonna say, it's not like there are higher taxes for a place like this. Yeah, I mean, there are higher taxes. The taxes depend on the value of the property here in Canada. Okay, so you know, if your house is $1 million, you pay much higher taxes than a person who's living in a small condo like me. I mean, my property taxes are like about $1,000 a year, so it's not bad. Maybe $1,200, $1,300 a year, something like that. That's what I have to pay to the government for just owning a house. It's called property tax. Okay, so the property tax on big houses like this, guys, it would be like thousands per year, like maybe $10,000 a year for property taxes. Can you believe that? That's crazy. So like, you know, you have to, because the house is in a nice area like this, that means there's a higher demand for that, right? And that's what jacks up the price. To jack up means to push up. Like if you have a flat tire, if you're driving your car and you have a flat tire, you need to change the tire and put on the spare tire. You need to jack up your car. Right? You go find the jack in the trunk of your car somewhere, and you jack it up. Okay. Good, nobody's following me, guys. Hey, look, there's the sun. There's the moon. Can you see the moon up there? And there's the sun over there. Sun and moon. All right. So the higher demand jacks up the price of the houses around here, right? Because everybody wants to live. I mean, look at these people walking their dogs. You know, you've got space, you can see. You got planes ruining your videos. You know, you know, you're not cramped. You know, if you live in like an apartment building, you live in really close quarters with people, then you're kind of cramped, and you know, the value of those, like, nobody wants to live in that type of a situation. So the value of those homes are much lower, right? Because people don't want them. But a big house like that over there, guys, like that, everybody and their dog would want to live in a house like that. Okay, if I say everybody and their dog, that means everybody. It's, if I add and their dog, it just emphasizes the word everyone. Everyone would want to live in a house like that, right? So the demand for these homes is high because it's such a nice area. And so the price, the value of the house, that's what, you know, increases the property taxes of the, you know, the property taxes you have to pay to the, where do property taxes even go? Is it to the province or is it to the municipality? Guys, I can't even remember. Property taxes. I think they go to the municipality, or maybe part of it goes to the province and maybe part of it goes to the municipality. Okay, like there's 3 levels of kind of area, right? There's the federal, that means the whole country, and then provincial, like here in Alberta. This is my province, Alberta, and then below that is Alberta's broken down into different like municipalities. So, you know, a city is like a municipality, right? So the taxes from these homes, they might go to partly to the municipality and maybe partly to the province. I can't remember how it works. I just pay my taxes and just forget about it. How about you? Do you just pay your taxes? Take my money and get out of my life. That's my attitude to the government. Take my money, just get out of my life, guys. So that's about property taxes. So we're talking about figures. Okay, so these people, like to afford a house like this, you'd have to be making 6 figures for sure, and probably not low 6 figures, like probably not like 100,000. These people would be making like maybe 500,000 a year. I'm thinking, or guys, there's more people on the path. Gonna hide under these trees here. So yeah, so these people are probably making like, I don't know, guys, like probably most of these people inherited their homes, so they probably didn't even have the money to begin with. But even to maintain a house, right? Like if your property taxes are going to be $10,000 just based on the value of the house, you know, and that's just taxes. Okay, that's not talking about upkeep of the home. Upkeep means maintenance of the home, right? You got repairs, you got utilities, utility fees. Like you'd be looking at, like, I don't know, on a big house like this, utilities would probably run like, they'd have to run like $500-600 a month minimum, I would say, to heat a big house like this, and for electricity, for, you know, water. And I'm not sure how many people live in these homes. Like they're big, right? Like you could probably put 5-6, you know, put a big family. I mean, here in Canada, like a family of 5 or 6 is considered a pretty big family. And so these, I don't know, I have no idea about these people, guys. I've never met these people before. I don't know what they're like, who they are. I don't know what kinds of jobs they have, but they would be making, I mean, their household income means whatever the whole family makes. Well, it means what the husband and wife make. That's what household income is, right? Whatever both partners make, that's considered the household income. Okay, so these people probably have a household income, I'm guessing, like it's got to be around like 300,000-400,000, maybe higher, maybe 500,000 a year. I don't know, like how, you know, in Canada here there's a big growing disparity between the rich and the poor, guys. Like the rich seem to own everything, and then there's a lot of poor people who can't afford anything. I read a statistic yesterday online. It's something like only 25% of Canadian families can afford to buy a house, or something like that. Can you imagine that? Only a quarter of all the, I think that, don't quote me on that. Another plane ruining my video. So I don't quote me on this statistic, but I think it was something like, I think it was like 25% of Canadians, families, can afford to buy a house. That means the rest are renting or homeless. That's crazy, you know. So it's a really bad reflection on the leadership of the country if only a quarter of the population of your country can buy a house, guys. That's crazy. Let's go over here, guys. There's a nice bench over here. Let's go sit on the bench. That's a nice area. You got garbage cans to throw out your garbage. You got nice benches to sit on if you so choose. So what was I saying about the figures? Like, these people, they'd be making at least 6 figures a year, maybe 7 figures. You know, if you're a really successful dentist, let's say, for example, or a doctor, or like if you have your own business, maybe if a really successful business, you'd be easily making, these people would be easily making $1 million a year. So, you know, so that would be 7 figures, right? 7 figures is $1 million or more. Well, I don't even know what 8 figures. I guess 8 figures would be 10 million. 9 figures would be 100 million. 10 figures would be... Guys, I'm lost. I can't even think that high. Isn't this a nice little bench here, guys? Look at that. Just nice place to sit and watch the sunset. So how many figures do you make? Or do you just make a measly amount? The word measly just means a very little bit, a small amount. Measly. You know, like here in Canada, it would be impossible to live on. You know, prices are so high. I mean, food costs are so high. You know, back when I was in college, I remember thinking that $300 a month would be, you know, that's a lot of money for a person to spend on food a month. Okay. There's another nice plane up there. Okay, so 400 or 300, I remember that's thinking that's what would be like a really great amount for a person to spend on food per month. But now you know, we're in 2023 here. $300 a month? You could not know. People, like, you can't even eat 3 meals a month, like 3 meals a day for a month. You know, for what would you eat? Eggs? 2 eggs for breakfast, 2 eggs for lunch. You know, maybe I don't know, something nice for supper. I don't know, you know, like the average person probably spends at least $500 a month on food. Then for a family, if you've got a family of 4 or 5 people, you'd be spending $2,000 on food every month, guys. So that's $24,000 per year. $24,000. Think about that, just for food, and that's a low estimate, I would say. Average family probably spends like $30,000 on food. Oh, maybe, I don't know, maybe not that much. Like, I don't know, guys. I'm thinking, yeah, at least $2,000 a month on food. So let's say $30,000 a year for food, and then you've got to pay rent. Well, let's say if you have a family, you can't just live on guys, there's some people on the ice there. It's kind of dangerous. If the ice breaks, hopefully they don't fall into the ice. It's not that cold out here. The ice probably isn't that thick. I think it's probably above 0 right now. It's probably like 2 degrees, something like that. So it's a nice day. But so food prices, you'd be looking at, like, if you have a family of, let's say, like mom, dad, 2 or 3 kids, I think you'd be looking at 30 grand a year for food. And then for rent, yeah, it's another 2,000, no, more, it's got to be more than 2,000. Like here right now in Alberta, in Calgary, you know, you can't get a place, you can't find even a 1-bedroom condo is going to run you means how much expense it's gonna cause you. It's gonna run you $2,000 a month, you know, after utilities like, you know, water, electricity, internet and stuff like that. You're looking at 2,000 minimum. It could be higher, it could be like 2,500. And remember, this is in Alberta. We're not talking about Vancouver, we're not talking about Toronto. We're talking about little old Alberta here, right? So imagine if you're paying for a family. Okay, a family can't live in a one little apartment. They need like maybe a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment or a small house, you know. And so that's gonna run you like, let's say $3,000 a month. So $3,000 a month is $36,000 a year. Let's just make it 30. So you got 30,000 for food, 30,000 for living. That's it, just food and living. I mean, that's not talking about, you know, clothes or any other kind of expenses that you have. So you need to be making like $60,000 a year, like just to, like, probably the household income would need to be, for a family, the household income would need to be, I would say, almost $100,000 a year to live, just to stay alive. That's how bad things are getting. And you know, you see YouTube videos all the time now of people leaving Canada. They say, we're done with this country, we can't do it. Now, I've been talking about it for years. I don't know, in my videos I've talked about it over the years, but it's getting a lot worse now. It's getting very bad. So many people are leaving Canada, and so I would say, unless a person's going to make 6 figures, you know, like, now for a single person like me, it's kind of easy because I don't need to eat every day. I actually don't need to eat every day. I'm too fat. So I could eat, you know, I could eat 3 days a week and I would be fine. That'd be fine. You know, sometimes I don't eat for a few days. So that's fine. It's not because I don't have enough money to buy food. It's just because maybe I get sick or something like that. So, you know, like, I'm thinking about some of the people I know, and I don't know how they live. How do they stay alive? I don't know. In Canada, I don't know, because keep in mind, minimum wage is $15 an hour. And you might think, well, $15 an hour sounds like pretty good. Yeah, it is, compared to maybe in your country, right? Let's say you live in Nepal or Myanmar or some country like that. You know, $15 an hour seems like a great thing. So if you can come to Canada, make $15 an hour. The problem is, where will you live here? If you come here and you make $15 an hour, that's $15 an hour is, well, what's that? Is that even $30,000 a year? Depending on how many hours. If you're full-time, you work 8 hours a day, 8 times 15, you know, you're looking at, yeah, I mean, you'll make over $100 a day, probably, you know, but $100 a day times 300 days a year, that's $30,000 a year. So if you make minimum wage, you might make $30,000, but after taxes, because you have to remember, the government takes a lot of taxes from you for different things, and so you're left with almost nothing. So if you came to Canada and you got a job making, let's even say you were making $20 an hour or $30 an hour, that's barely enough money to send home to your, you know, to your family. So guys, a lot of people are leaving Canada because they can't afford to live here. I would say, you know, most Canadians make, they probably on average, I don't even know what is the average Canadian salary. Let's take the rich people out of it, the top 10%, and let's cut out the bottom 10%. Let's say with just the average people, I don't know, it might be like the average person might be like $40,000, 50, 60,000. I'm not sure. I haven't checked, but you know, anything less than that, I would say, would be a measly amount for a person to live on if they want a decent life. Okay, so I would say anything under like $30,000 a year in Canada would be measly. So how about you? Do you make 7 figures or 6 figures, or do you just make a measly amount? It means a very small amount. But you know, it's kind of humbling because I know many countries around the world, people make the average salary is maybe like, they might make like $2 a day or like $5 a day, and that's what they live on, $5 a day. You know, that's their whole income for their family and for their, you know, so it's really humbling to be in a country that it's still, even though Canada's going down, even though it's getting a lot worse, a lot more expensive, still that we have this kind of quality of life. It's a humbling fact, and I think about it almost every day. You know, the poverty around the world is really high, and I don't know, guys, I can't solve all the world's problems. All I can do is teach you English vocabulary like measly and 7 figures, 6 figures. Do you make 6 figures? If you make 6 figures, guys, you better buy me a coffee. Link is right down there. You better buy me a coffee if you make 6 figures. If you make 5 figures, I'll let you off the hook. And if you make 7 figures, I don't even want to talk to you guys. Too rich for me. Get out of my life. I don't like 7-figure people unless you're willing to share it with a certain someone living in Alberta. So guys, anyway, I'm just joking. I love you no matter how much money you make. If you make a measly amount, or if you were super rich, I have some love in my heart for you. So guys, with that, as always, I love you so much, and I hope you're doing great. Hope you're staying safe, healthy, and happy. Hope you can make enough money to eat. Hope you can afford to buy a cup of coffee every day, or some tea, or, you know, just some nice little, you know, just the small pleasures in life that kind of make a day just more enjoyable. You know, if it's nice if you have an extra $1 a day, $2-3 a day to go buy a coffee, you know, or buy a donut or something like that, right? It just adds a little bit to your day. That's just kind of nice, you know. So guys, hope you're doing great. I'll bid you farewell here before the sun sets. It's now it's 4 o'clock, so the sun's going to be setting right now. It's going to be dark in about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But from now on, the days are getting longer. So guys, I'm very excited about that. So from here in Alberta, Canada, I wish you all the best. And as always, I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.